right, it's 4:02. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the Sandpoint Arts Commission monthly meeting for July 7th, 2020. Let's have a roll call.
Tricia Walker, Carol Kowalczak,
Ellie Sussness,
Barry Burgess.
Hannah Combs, and Holly. Oh,
And Holly Walker.
thank you. There is no members of the public here today. So let's move on to the election report. You'll see there that the downtown district is $109,042.89. The northern district is $56,668.94. Anybody have any questions on that? All right, moving on. Meeting minutes approval. I'd like to hear a motion to approve the June 11th, 2020 meeting minutes. Someone make that motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any naysayers? All right, motion approved. Moving on to old business, we are looking at the Sandpoint Silver Box project, Art on Loan. And Erin is going to show us the applications from Cafe.
Thank you, Chair. Chairwoman Ellie. First, I guess just a little bit of background here. Let me pull it up.
Will we be able to see the votes per thing as you do this?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
See the votes?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be voting here.
Yeah, but I just meant what everybody
But-
weighed in before. Or?
No, that's really intended for your own personal.
It was,
kind of
okay.
notes. Yeah.
Okay.
But just generally, I provided a small report at the beginning of the document today, but the hope, if you can reach a decision on, we're looking to choose three for the specific silver box locations. We'd also like two runner-ups as well. If you recall last year, we had one work that got sold in between the time that you approved it and before we executed a contract. So I thought a couple of runners up might be good so that we don't have to come back and hustle like we kind of had to last year. So the current artwork up for display is to be removed for the existing contracts by August 30th. And our hope is to get between that week and Labor Day weekend is to have the new artwork and the plaques, the small plaques that we acquire locally to have those up before Labor Day this year. And then we've also included the draft contract and the call and the report. And so those will be up for approximately 1 year to be removed by August 30th. And Labor Day is, I think, the following week again next year. So with that said, we had over 23 submissions, but some of the submissions were very obviously not going to work on silver boxes because they weren't the correct media. They were typically paintings or murals, you know, and sometimes you get that when you have an online call. People just kind of throw out applications that everything that comes in. But there were 23 eligible submissions from all over the country. We had a few local artists. 24 submissions, I should say, 23 online, and then the 24th submission came in locally, there by a local artist, which I also sent and posted, and then one or two more from the region. And the reason I mention that is because in the call it does specify you may give preference to local artists. So with that said, if there's not any questions, I can kind of run through and I apologize that I wasn't able to get the larger images posted in that document. The system doesn't really allow me to bulk download large images. Unfortunately, it's why I gave you the link so you could kind of get a head start on it, but we can go through them right now, unless you have any other questions at this time.
I don't have any questions. I would love to run through them ahead of time so we can see the images a little bit larger on the screen.
Okay, so
Will you remind us, those who are close in the region?
let's see, there was the submission from, who was the last one?
David Poransky's the.
David Bransky is the local artist, and then there was from Washington, or I want to say,
There's one from Oregon.
from Oregon,
Yeah.
maybe one from Montana. Okay, let me go back to Zoom here so I can share my screen. Okay. So what happens when I click that? Okay, so this is the first one. This is In Morning as Cyrus Chases the Moon by Ted Pickering. Mr. Pickering had a few submissions. He has a few more images, kind of close-ups, but this is kind of the larger image.
Is that three-dimensional or is it more of a bas relief?
It is three-dimensional. I can bring up the information here. Light assemblage installation structure. Components include metal, plastic, wood, and light components. 22 inches by 10 inches by 8 inches. 20 pounds. So that's the first one. This one is called, there's a few on here. Damsel by artist Gary Mitchell. Damsel in Distress. Freeze. You kind of get a sense those boxes appear to be approximately the size of the boxes we have. Chorus Cowboy. Squama Mazon. Ring straight bowl. Do you have any questions about these works? Want me to move on?
The bowl would be too large, right?
It appears that it would. I could confirm the size if you like, but okay.
Yeah, it's 60 wide, so.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to have multiple. The next artist is Mary Andrews. This one is entitled The Single Twist. These do look a little large, all of these, but I can confirm these dimensions in a second. Not that they couldn't potentially work, but this is a butterfly 1, butterfly 2, and Twisted Botanical Wave. I think that's the same one. It's titled the same, just at a different angle. Or is it? Yeah, it is the same. Twisted Botanical Wave. Would you like any more information about those dimensions, or?
Just,
Yeah.
I was gonna say dimension on the butterflies. Either one.
Okay.
Either one, actually.
Okay, the butterfly is 61 inches by 30 inches by 30 inches, so.
And the wave would have to be on the ground, not on a box.
Well, these are all specific for the boxes, so we're not looking at any other location
I know.
except for on top of where the current boxes are.
Current box, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the Twisted Botanical Wave might work on the large box, just like the heart works on the large box because it's wider at the top.
Top, okay.
That is 6 inches by 3.5 inches, so, wait, I can't do that. Oh. Huh, okay, it's got 6 feet by 3.5 feet
Oh, 3.5, that's too wide.
by 6 inches.
Okay.
So yeah, the base I think is 3.5 feet. It's got 2 different dimensions in there.
Okay.
Next. These are by artist Timothy Carter, yellow number 8, number 2, and yellow series. Yellow number 8. I'm not sure which one is, out of these 2, is yellow number 8. Maybe the narrative has clarity. That, he probably misnamed them. That's probably the yellow series. This one is titled Yellow Number 2. And I'm guessing this is Yellow Number 8, even though it says Yellow Series on it.
Okay.
Any other questions about these?
No.
I have a
Oh,
question.
you heard? Go ahead.
These artists that have several pieces in their submissions, are they just saying you can choose which one? Choose from these? Are they all, or is there a specific one they want us? Are they showing us the body of their work, or all the options possible?
They're including multiple. Some artists are including multiple submissions in one application,
Okay, got it.
which we haven't necessarily, I don't believe, prohibited.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
And it actually is a little bit of a cost savings anyway. So. Okay. Oh. Okay. This artist actually did another submission for somewhat different, called Kissing. Can we move on? This next one is by Vance Houston. Spherical cube and origami. Now, this one I did kind of notice. I think it is actual paper mache. Right. Right, which,
I think that disqualifies it.
yeah, okay. Next, we have Kirk Sees. I think this one looks familiar. I think he may have applied, maybe it just looks similar to one that was applied for last round.
I thought it looked similar too.
The feather. Oh, the yellow feather.
Is that glass?
No, it's painted MDO board, so it's got epoxy resin on MDO board along with steel. So it looks like the frame is steel and then the panels are painted board with a coating on them.
Yeah, but the MDO is for outdoors.
It is for outdoors,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what they're gonna use on the back of the van.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And if it's coated with resin, then that's similar to the Angry Bird, as far as like a coating to protect it from the weather.
The purple feather. Rather tall, some of these.
Yeah, that's 10 feet right there.
I think they're all 10 feet.
Are they all 10?
The green feather.
Sense of theme.
The red feather. And the feather. That's what appears to be the artist.
Where's that artist from?
Let's see.
Lutherville, Maryland?
Yes.
I think we can move on to the next one.
Okay. This is John Banks. First, called Pulling of the Bell. Next is Stars on Parade. Capital Art.
These are all huge.
So what?
They're all huge.
Dancing Lone Star. And Peace Officer Memorial.
Those all look like they're already placed.
Any questions on this one? Another by Ted Pickering, Untitled Nebraska.
What's the dimensions on that?
They are, 1 second. 18 inches by 15 inches by 15 inches.
Excuse me, what is the light source?
Yeah. It says light, it says light components. So you mean the power source? Whether it's a battery or a good question. It's not,
It didn't really say.
it doesn't say in the, yeah, I don't know, you know, his. I'm just checking his resume to see if that mentions anything, but I don't see what it does. Sorry, I don't know. Any other questions on this one? Okay. Another final submission by Ted Pickering for 33 prayers that this night will be shorter than tomorrow. That looks like the light, but can't tell if it requires an outlet or not, which we do not have necessarily at the boxes. We do not. And we would not be able to utilize an extension cord, so.
Yeah, long extension.
Any other questions on this one? Okay. Moving right along, we have Aaron Alderman. Questions on dimensions of this? It looks a
It
little
looks
large.
It's long. If I remember the dimensions, it was almost 5 feet.
Well, I went to see. I guess I would be potentially challenging the mount on one of our boxes. Just any questions? Okay, moving on. Another one by Alderman. This one looks like it may be able to be mounted. And you might need strikes.
That's a good size too. Some of them are so small, those boxes.
Do you have a back view of that?
Yeah, there's only one image of this one.
No surprises on what's hanging out in the bottom. True. I think we can move on.
Okay. Okay, and our friend Patrick Sullivan, who has a current work on display. And it's some different works coming on. Butterfly A. Butterfly C. Butterfly B. Any questions on these?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay. And then Matthew Duffy, who I believe has submitted in the past as well. This one's titled 99 Face Low Poly Head. I can't tell if this is actually just a rendering or if it's recreating it. I have to go back and look at the description. Sunrise, sunset, blade, and winged one. Appears that we may be able to blur. And a close-up detail shot of winged one. Wing one, excuse me. And then wing two. Questions? You want to leave out dimensions on these or anything?
What the dimensions on wing 2?
Is 18 inches, so 18 inches by 8 inches by 8 inches.
Very big. Minimum.
We did specify that in the call.
What was our minimum?
It's 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Because 18 is just a pretty little tiny thing on this giant box.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
This is artist Bruce Hassan. This is Wallaroo. Next is Vesuvius. Finally, Kalima.
These are all bombs.
questions about those? Okay. Now to Harold Link. I think Harold may have applied. Sounds familiar as well. Girly Curl. First one. Oh, there's just one. Second image. Girly Curl. Questions? Next is Jesse Taylor. Several images for human earth distraction. Cell shot. Here it is mounted.
It looks like that's 8 feet tall.
Want me to confirm?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is 8 feet tall. 8 by 3.5 at the top. Here.
10 feet. Oh, well. Okay, 8 feet by 3.5 by 2. Actually, his last image here. Here we are. Oh, so it's a scale. So Northside Portland. Okay, any other questions about this one? No? Okay. And then the squirt by Leo Kogan.
Birthday.
Some more environmental design appears. This one, Apple Mural.
They look like they're part of installations.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, it looked like a part of the mural part.
and again, I did a really brief screening, and it's just, is it a sculpture?
Right.
Basically.
And if it's 100 inches, it's too big one way.
That's what I mean, it's an installation, there's more parts than just that one thing.
Okay, moving on. This is Joseph Ovale or Ovale with stalagmite.
What was the size on that?
Pointy.
Pointy thing? Very, very sharp,
4 by 3 by
in
3.
public. Very sharp, pointy thing.
Did you have questions about that one?
No.
Next one is, next artist is Robert Gigliotti. Or Gigliotti. Inspiration number 1. And then the second submission is Trillium. Questions on those two?
Size of trillium.
Trillium.
60 inches tall, 26 by 26.
I'm looking also, because this box is they would dwarf anything too small. Because they're so large, you need something to kind of counterbalance that.
is larger than it kind of looks. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that scale. Moving on?
Yes.
Okay. Nathan Robles. This is several images of work, which I have retitled Planning Director.
Atlas Shrugged.
Pushing up a ball and gonna hit you in the butt.
That's Atlas Shrugged right there. You can put that on your desk.
Yeah.
Oh, look, so actually the last picture is actually on a box.
I thought it looked like a nonprofit leader.
Yeah, yeah.
What you do every day.
I bet a lot of us can.
What was the height on that one?
It's 6 feet tall also, a little 3.5 wide at the top.
The top doesn't, it's like the heart's tall, wider at the top.
Looks like it might work on one of our
Yeah,
boxes.
that looks like it's already on the box, like ours.
Any more questions about work? Okay. Getting close. Tammy Holland. Riverside Cycles.
So that would barely fit on the big box with the head hanging off, I'm gonna assume. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, because it's not that tall.
I think it's too big.
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, Kim. First one is titled Breathe. Reimagine. The second. And Stand Tall. And he also submitted this. Any questions on this one? Okay. That brings us to our final submission, which came in to City Hall directly. Let me just jump to that one here. This is David Baranski. Three submissions. First, Native Chieftain. Can you see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Native Eagle Chieftain, excuse me. And then Salmon Dreams. And then finally, Slumbering Maiden. In the report, I also included all of artists' resumes that submitted them as well. Any questions on these?
Salmon Dreams is 17 inches tall. Looks like it weighs about 100 pounds, so that's within limits. And then the Slumbering Maiden is 18 inches tall.
How big is the Eagle Chief?
Native Eagle Chieftain is 14 inches tall, so he's smaller. they're all within weight limit. All right. Any questions on that one? All right, well, let's remind ourselves what, how big the boxes are at each location, and then we can maybe backtrack.
Sure.
I need to head out, Ellie, but I have my top picks at the end of the second page.
Okay. All right,
Okay, Anna.
thank you.
Bye.
Let me bring up the call.
So we know the first box there at Oak and Fourth is 3 by 3, so that's of course our larger one. The low poly heart is about 5 by 5, I think at its widest point, 5 feet tall by 5 feet wide. If that's a good gauge for, I think it really does require something larger.
Is that the larger one?
That's the largest one.
And you said it was about 5 feet by,
Yeah, the poly heart is 5 feet tall
Oh.
by 5 feet wide at the apex, the widest part of the heart. So, and I think it really fills the space well. So my liking would be to pick something large for that location if possible. The location at Fifth and Oak, that is the smallest,
Yeah, that's the thinnest.
the thinnest one.
Yeah.
And I believe that's 2 by 2 feet. So, I think the O'Keefe 5 was a good choice because it's tall and slender as well. I mean, it doesn't mean we can't go a little wider with that one, make it.
Well, and we could put something that's not quite 24 inches on there and it wouldn't be overwhelmed by the box.
Right. And of course, the one out in front of the post office at Worthing Church, I believe that is, what is the dimension on that one?
That box?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'll have to
It's a short back one.
it's a short, that one.
go back and
I feel like it's too,
we can find out here in a minute. Oh, geez, I should have had that ready for you. Let's see.
you'd think I know that by heart.
Well, I should too. I used to.
I want to say
It's
30.
been a little while.
Yeah.
30. And it's not as, I think it's 2 feet by 3 by 30 by 30. That could be crazy.
Oh,
Did we put that on the call inside the room?
we didn't like that. We applied an image of the boxes at the different locations. We just specified the plate width that would have to fit, which is 16 inches by 16. And then minimum dimension of art, maximum.
I almost feel like it's 2 by 2 by 2. It's small.
I
don't know if
I
it's
just
that
think of
small.
it, I don't
Okay.
think it's, that's,
I've got
that's
it.
what I'm thinking, it's
You got
30.
36 inches by 36 inches. 3 feet by 3 feet.
That's the big one. That's not the one at the post office.
This is what was originally presented, but I think they have changed since.
Well, anyway, so the one by the post office.
Oh, wait, no. Here we go. 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. And then one, 2 feet tall by 3 feet by 3 feet.
That's the one at the post office.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Yeah. And then another 3 feet tall, but 2 feet by 2 feet.
Okay, and that's the one.
That's the tall.
Right.
That's the tall
Okay.
one.
So the one at the post office can obviously take a little bit larger,
Mhm.
but we know because of the angry bird that a tall one works as well.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right. Well, how do we want to approach this as far as, do we want everyone to give their top 3 to 5, or do we want to?
Holly says yes.
I think that's a good way to kind of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what boxes I think they should go onto, so.
Okay.
Want to start?
Sure. Baranski, the Eagle Chief on Fifth and Oak. Nathan Rubley's work on Oak and Fourth.
Nathan Robles, which one was that?
The Earth guy.
Work, push and
Work.
ball.
Pushing
Oh,
ball.
okay, work.
Yeah.
And that was, you thought where?
Oak and Fourth, across from the park.
Okay,
And the Gigliotti Trillium at the post office.
Which one was that one?
That's the one that came up and had it looked like a trillium flower. It's metal.
Oh, okay.
And alternates would be Butterfly 2, which could go in either, I think it would look nice at the post office. And,
That's Mary Alger.
mhm. And the second one would be the lightning string, the figure. Okay.
Go ahead, Tricia.
I didn't put the alternates down, but I have the atlas, I call them atlas. Work first.
I think that's resonating with a lot of us.
Yeah, Baranski, the first one, that one, yes. And
first
then
one
That
was,
would be the Indian
the
chief.
Indian chief, yeah.
okay,
Eagle, Indian something.
Yeah,
Eagle.
it's nice to honor our area. And butterfly.
Which one?
I kind of depended on where, from what angles, because there were a couple of different ones. I wasn't opposed to any
There
of
was
them
just one or
actually,
two,
but
there were two of them.
yeah.
One had more red, one had.
Oh, no,
more
not that
yellow.
butterfly. I'm not thinking of, sorry, butterfly. I said butterfly, but I meant the flag. Did we just say that was
Oh,
too
the feather?
tall? The feather. Thank you, feather. That's what I meant, feather.
I feel like the feather's too tall.
It was too tall,
2 feet.
even for the post office. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be really tall. But I mean, we can put it on there. As a,
Yeah.
alternate if you want.
So that was, after that was butterfly, was alternate.
We can go back and review the photos. Barry?
I have Baranski's Salmon Dream, Work by Roble, Gigliotti's Inspiration, And the alternates are Feather by Cease and Banks, capital R.
Which one by Banks? Capital.
Capital R.
Capital
I'm not entirely sure about their their sizes, not really unclear.
We'll note that down. Thank you. Holly?
I have the feather in yellow or purple. I think that would look cool at the post office. I don't know about the height, but I like the idea of the height there. I have work. I think that would look neat, like Carol suggested, near the park. But I also think the Sun Chasers moon would be cool at the park. It's a kind of an intimate sculpture. I also really liked Baranski's. I chose the Salmon Dream, but I also liked the one that was also chosen, the other one that was mentioned. So
Eagle Chief. Yeah.
yes, I would be pleased with either one of those. They were amazing. I have a big stack of maybes if you need them later, but these were my top ones.
Awesome, thank you. And then Hannah had some picks. Fourth and Oak, she preferred Andrew's Butterfly or Wave, or the Cease Green Feather. At Fourth and Church.
Oh,
Go ahead.
butterfly or feather?
Or Wave, Andrew's Butterfly or Wave, or alternately, Cease's Green Feather.
Okay.
And then at Fourth and Church, Cease's Green Feather or Robles Work. And at Fifth and Oak, Gigliotti, either piece, or Lynx Curly Girl. And I'm on board with everything everybody said, so we can narrow it down from there.
Okay. Do you want to start by location?
Sure. So let's go ahead and do the 3x3x3 at the park
Okay.
first, because that'll narrow down the biggies.
Okay. So, we had a couple people that liked work, specifically at that location.
You pull that one back up.
Yeah,
Now, my only thing about work at that location is I kind of feel like I'd love something more colorful and less heavy emotionally there. I could see work at the post office.
I was gonna say that too. I could see work at the post office. Would feather fit at one of the colorful feathers fit at the park?
I get lost in the tree.
Yeah, the only thing about that is you've got this big fat box and then you've got a 10-foot tall feather on the top.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can quite visualize that. I think maybe the butterfly is a better option there if it fits on the box.
maybe I should pull up a photo of that
Yeah.
box. Because I think you're right, the tree is kind of,
Yeah, the feather portion of it, I mean, that's 13 feet tall. It'll be in the canopy of the tree.
It's not actually hitting or being hit by the tree.
Right. Unfortunately. But you know what? That feather, what about that feather on Fifth and Oak? I mean, because we could have as tall as we want there, really.
Yeah, that's a nice idea, actually, and adds a little pop of color there.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Weigh in.
visually, you're going to have this very tall, skinny thing on this little teeny, but what's going to look like a little tiny, it's going to look like it's going to fall over. That's just my impression of
Well, it's a feather, it could blow in the wind.
Yeah,
it. Fall on a car.
Yeah, I just wish the stand of that feather was a little
A
shorter.
little
Yeah.
shorter,
Yeah.
right. Well, and I don't know, maybe the artist is up for an adaptation for the height.
That's possible.
Hacksaw.
Because I can see
Here's
that.
kind of the
Okay, there it is. That's
best I
the,
found.
okay, so look at one of the, which, how about one of the butterflies there? What's her name? Mary something or other. Or even the,
Mary Eldridge?
The nice part, I mean, that one right there is known for the heart and the big, something big, so people are looking for the heart.
somebody called me last night trying to buy the heart.
Oh.
Library, but I couldn't remember how much it was. So, I don't know.
So can we pull up the butterfly,
Yes.
Mary Eldridge,
Yes.
for this location, just to kind of look at it? Holly, what do you think about maybe the feather as an alternate and asking if, for the fifth and oak position, if they could shorten the stand?
I like that. I see that it wouldn't work here because of the height.
Yeah.
The color matches what you were wanting for the color there, because another one that would be kind of neat here is the Baranski's bear, but that's not colorful, and you were kind of wanting something colorful there.
I just think that we've learned from the heart that something big and colorful there is quite nice, and people will appreciate it.
You wanted to see Mary Andrews?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was butterfly 1 and 2.
Either one. They're both the same size. Holly, we can put Holly on the box.
Yay, hi, here I am again.
Yeah, it does stand out.
Mm-hmm.
It would kind of almost be like a statement piece, like the heart is. kinda.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You want to see the other one?
Yes, Jim?
And it will invite conversation, which is a part of what you want, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like the orange in that one, but the other one is, I think, more colorful.
Mm-hmm. The other one jumps out more.
That's the butterfly one.
What do you think, Barry?
Butterfly one. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first one.
All right, do
Is there
we,
consensus on butterfly 1 for the oak and
Ford, yes.
oak and fourth location at the
Yeah.
park?
Yes.
1 by Mary Andrews. Okay.
do we want to go ahead and pick an alternate while we're here at this box?
Could we see?
Do you want to do an alternate for each box
It's
location?
not a bad
or-
idea.
Yeah, we could do that, and then that way, if we can't get one, we can get the other one.
And then if we have to switch it up,
That's another way to do it, I guess.
if that's acceptable, I think that's a good idea.
I think so. I guess for timing, the only thing, because we were hoping to post tomorrow for council in order to give us we still have a buffer, but if you wanted, like, me to find out from, say, the artist with the feather, if he can shorten it, I'm a little concerned about timing for that. If we want to, post for council tomorrow,
Right.
right?
It looks like he already has those set up with a base on them, so for him to cut that, he'd have to redo the base and everything. So,
So maybe that's asking too much.
I don't know, though. It looks like you made that base for a particular size and project, so I don't,
I mean, I guess,
Well,
if I can't get a hold of them, like first thing tomorrow, for example, you could give me a runner-up for that location, I guess.
okay. Well, and I think that would, yeah, let's, what was the other big one? Was there another?
Could we see Guglielmi's work? again?
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we have the second butterfly as the alternate on that one? And then we can have the feather as the alternate on the fifth and oak one, and, you know,
I wouldn't want two butterflies though, if we ended up with the alternate, though, and that would be my thing, I wouldn't want two of the same.
well, no, it wouldn't, if, I mean, the alternate is in case something
Something
sells
doesn't,
beforehand. So
okay.
if the first butterfly sells, then we have the second
One. Oh, I see what you're
Backup.
saying, okay. I'm with
That's
you.
all I'm saying.
okay, that's trilling. How wide is that? Oh, I know, it's 26 by 26 wide, so it's a little over 2 feet. And we said that that box is only, what, 24 by 24 by the one that's on Oak and Fifth.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a problem because,
The base is small.
base is smaller, and so it will hang out a little bit, but I don't see
Yeah.
that as being a problem.
That would work. I mean, 60 inches is, it's 5 feet, and that would work on there. It would be just enough difference between, it's 3 feet high, so we're only, so there's, the balance would not be that off. It would be okay, wouldn't be, if you had something too tall on there, it just would be off balance, looking visually.
That's true, and that's why I was thinking maybe the stone, the David Baranski one might be better there. The Eagle Chieftain
That's the one I picked for there.
for the fifth and oak. Okay. What, any discussion on that? So between this,
Fifth and Oak, is at the bank corner?
that's another thing, corner.
Yeah. So that's about 3 feet tall,
It's 60, it's 5 feet tall.
5 feet tall, and the base of the box is how tall?
The box is 3 feet tall
3
by
feet tall.
2 by 2.
Okay.
So it's long and skinny,
It's 8 feet in the air.
and then it's gonna be, this will be quite tall.
Good, because the arms on that, I would be concerned that a pedestrian might walk. over
Right,
it.
I've had that.
At that height.
Unless it's Wilt Chamberlain, we don't have to worry.
No, I'm fine with that.
So, are we thinking,
Baranski's Eagle Chief for that, or the Trilling,
for which location?
Fifth and Oak.
Was there a priority for,
I would say a priority should go towards the local artist.
Yeah, Baranski.
And actually, I think that would look good there, even though it's a little shorter than we're used to. I think it would fit well with the box and look good.
continue the theme from current?
Yeah.
Current sculpture.
All right, is everybody agreeable with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So onward to the
Post office.
post office box. Well, I think everybody's on board with maybe work on there.
Yeah.
And then maybe as an alternate for that would be the feather with a shorter base. If
I really
possible.
like the feather all tall the way it is.
You think so? You think there it would?
I
Is there-
don't I can't quite visualize the post office space, but I'm wondering why not.
I can
There aren't
bring up-
any trees there. There's no,
That's true. I think it just would be a little disproportionate with the size of the box because the box is only 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, the main part of the artwork is gonna be, you know, you're up there at 12 feet.
Yeah.
So you're, you
kind of
know,
neat right there. I could see it. And it would, that sculpture would want a small pedestal, not a big one.
That's true.
Yeah, actually, you're probably right.
And it does have more of a chance of being seen because
And
it
you've
doesn't
got
have
the
to be
flag there.
visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. There's probably less pedestrian traffic there than more vehicle traffic,
True.
which is probably more aesthetically.
so that would be the
Right.
second pick. Which feather did you prefer?
I liked yellow, purple, but they were all nice. They were so colorful. I liked his colors.
I agree.
I like the yellow myself, is my opinion.
I liked the green in the right setting because it was, which it still would do, but I like the colors that pop different than anything around them.
What was the name of the
The
artist?
purple was, made me think that.
Who was the artist?
Cease.
Cease.
The purple seems like it may be a little dark for that.
Might be, yeah,
Just seem, I liked it, but it was a little dark.
maybe easier to visualize it now, picturing where it would be,
Kind of preferred the green feather.
the green. Yeah. That's the one that jumped out at me. I liked them all, but that one did.
Yeah, I like, that was the one I
I like
liked
that
also.
one too.
No, now that I see it, I think you're right, Holly. I think that would look good on that box.
Yeah.
But we still want to go with work as the first pick?
Yes.
Yes? No?
I still really like work, but.
Hey,
Other
you
than,
don't know though, you know, we might say we like work and he says, sorry, we sold it, so.
true.
Choice.
Well, I think the feather works better at the post office.
Yeah, I
The
do
work
too.
might be better at the park.
Yeah,
It would be better because it's more pedestrian wise.
Yeah.
It seems, when you have an accumulation of people what's really nice about it too is its transparency. Pretty stimulating image if you're walking along and you see it.
Well, I'm still of the mind that it's a little too oppressive for that spot, but.
I don't think it's an oppressive sculpture. I don't see it as that.
No, but we all related it to our struggle. Just saying. Our own personal struggle come right out of our mouth.
What was the artist for work?
Robles.
Robles, I think.
ROB?
Nathan. What's his first
Okay. What does that base look like? I mean, it's a little rough with the welding. I have a feeling there's some.
Yeah, edges there, maybe.
Here, I can bring up the image of it on an actual box.
Oh, Well, it looks like it might have some primitive welding relief there on the triangular part.
So now seeing it from that angle, I almost like the feather is my first choice for the post office. And that's my second.
I'm almost in agreement.
That, I don't,
Because you have to see that up close, I think.
that one you need to see up close.
Yeah, not
Driving
in
by
front.
wouldn't work,
No.
no.
Of course, you could see the butterfly driving by.
Of course, there's a lot of people in that post office parking lot every day.
Yeah.
But you do primarily see that chicken going in now.
Chicken.
Well, what do you guys think? Should we go with the feather as the first choice?
Yes.
That's at the park, at the post.
At the post office.
Yeah.
Okay. Holly?
Yes, I agree. Feather, and then this. Is there a bank? I could see this near a bank for some reason.
The struggle? Is that the-
I can see that in my brother's front yard.
I could see a lot of people relating to this sculpture, right? It's timely, and it is, and so I don't, I still like the feather at the post office, but I think this is kind of a timely, and we all connected with it when we saw it, even though it wasn't the most pleasant feeling, it still instigated something in us, and I like it. I would like to see it somewhere, but I don't know if we have so many choices. This is awesome.
It's awesome. What's the size on
It is 6 feet tall, looks like, by 3.5 feet by 2 feet.
Well, so it would be a good size for the park. You guys, if you guys feel like you want to put this at the park, it's all right with me.
In front of Butterfly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what you said, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I prefer it in the park.
Okay. No, we all resonated with it, so I think that's gotta be in one of them. And just for the reasons you said, Holly. Yeah.
So Butterfly is the runner-up for the park?
Yes.
Butterfly 1?
Yep.
And then, so Feather is first choice at post office. And do you have a second choice at the post office?
Butterfly 1.
What's that?
Butterfly 1. If we don't,
Butterfly 1.
if we get what we want on this corner, Butterfly 1 is still colorful and pops out
That's true, and it'll
at
fit
the post office and would fit well.
It'll
Yeah.
fit well in that box. I'm okay with that.
That sounds good, yeah.
Okay. Holly?
Yep.
Good, thumbs up from Holly.
Okay. So to sum up, we have a first and second choice. Okay. So we have one second choice in 2 places, which I think is okay.
Yeah. It's kind of our first,
Mhm.
second choice.
Yeah. So in front of Farmers Park at Oak and Ford, our first choice is Work by Nathan Robles. Second choice is Butterfly 1 by Mary Andrews. And then at Fifth and Oak, our first choice is Eagle Chief by David Baranski. Our second choice is Trillium by Gigliotti. And then at the post office, Fourth Church, our first choice is Feather Green by Kirk Sees. And our second choice is Butterfly 1 by Mary Englers.
However, that does bring up the point that we do not want 2 butterflies. So if for whatever reason, it works out that 2 second choices have to move out, we need to make another choice, right?
Right.
Because we don't want 2 butterflies. But I
Her
guess,
her single twist was really nice too. The same artist that did the butterfly. Oh, but then would she have 2 pieces? I don't know.
I don't think there's anything that prevents that call, but I don't think it. Maybe,
I think if,
not sure what was the intent to have the same artist on multiple boxes.
right,
Well, you can cross that bridge too. If it ends up, we can always
We,
say.
we
well,
do have
had
a little bit of buffer, so in the
Yeah.
unlikely event that 2 drop out, or
yeah, I don't think we need to.
those 2 specifically drop out, we can maybe, it looks like we already have a schedule, meeting ending for July 21st, so.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. All right. Well, so if everybody's agreeable to that, then we can make a motion.
Yes.
I make the motion that we present the artists and placement to the city council.
Can I get a second? Patricia seconded. All in favor?
I
None opposed, so motion passes.
That work for you, Melissa? Great, thank you.
Fantastic, that was
Well
great.
done, good discussion, as usual.
I'm so excited we had such a nice selection to debate about.
was.
All right, so moving on then, 7A is a mural sign application. And Aaron will give us the lowdown on that.
Sure, this is a mural proposed for and we have a pretty good image of it, given that it's been already painted.
It's there.
So if it's not approved, ultimately by city council, again, this is a recommendation, in accordance with our mural policy, in accordance with our sign code, which allows for mural signs, which this would qualify as, to not count the, symbols, illustrations, representing the use of a business, but towards the allotted sign area, only counting letters and symbols specific to the actual business of the logo would only be counted towards sign area. So in this case, should it be approved as a mural sign, the only thing counting towards the allotted sign area would be the coffee wine lettering at the bottom, which takes up approximately 10 square feet and would not exceed their allotted sign area.
Which is,
For this building, I think it's 150 square feet total.
oh,
Just seeing that it says coffee wine, but there's no representation of coffee.
Bowling pins. They look like bowling pins.
all right, so it adheres to the sign code, is what you're saying?
Should it be approved as a mural? Yeah, as a
Yeah.
mural sign. Yes,
think
and so any mural sign, per code, comes before the Arts Commission for a recommendation to City Council. Should you approve it, it will go on the council agenda as a consent item.
I don't see a problem other than they should have asked first.
Well,
And this
okay,
is, if I didn't say so, this is, I think you probably know, like 102 South Boyer,
Yeah.
a long shot building business.
all right. So maybe this is the wrong time to ask the question, but how do people know that they are required to get permission for?
Well, that's a question. It's a great question for all kinds of things that you need permission for. A lot of people don't know if they need permission for a sign at all, or, a permit, or a permit for a short-term rental, or a permit for, and that just takes,
Outreach?
outreach and education. Most people, do ask before they, do a sign or mural, but sometimes, the onus is on us to enforce. And that's, a challenge.
So I'm just gonna
given our
throw
resources.
this out because when you okay this, then you open a door for future. And in Nampa, we had a pawn shop, put the entire thing, the entire wall was a gun. And then they come back and try to add flowers coming out the revolver side of it, so. Anytime you say that's a mural and that's okay, then that's a precedent.
Well, the precedent's in code, I mean, it's already codified that
Right,
you
the
can.
sign precedent
Yeah.
is, but is the mural precedent.
Well,
No, I mean, across the street, there are frogs with paintbrushes, right?
Right,
But they,
Exactly.
but they actually did present it
they
that way.
presented it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so did,
He was not aware, I made him aware that you have to go through the process, and if it's not proved, it will have to be removed.
right.
So,
And it also wasn't totally indicative of the business, right? 'Cause
Which,
the frog,
the paint bucket?
yeah,
Well, they had frogs with paintbrushes, so,
right.
and I think the logo is on that one also. isn't it?
yes, and that counts towards sign area.
Right. So
That
it's
part
the same.
counted towards it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything different with this, other than.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other examples.
Paint buckets, paints were used to paint them.
Yes, they were. And we know the artist, so.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I would, I think
Yeah.
this is well within our mural policy also.
Also, yeah.
So, if is everybody in agreement that we should recommend this to council?
That's the first time I've seen it. So. What's the writing underneath? What does that say?
Copy wine. That counts towards sign area.
It's sign. So
And then
in
there's
my
this-
mind, it doesn't sound like there's any real clear definition of what a sign is versus what a mural is.
Right, that's kind of where I was going with the gun thing, is that how much do we define a mural?
So we just made a clarification in code saying that, it's basically a mural. But what we clarified was, as approved as a mural, the symbols that kind of represent the use of the business or building do not necessarily count towards the allotted sign area if approved by a mural.
So it's approved as a mural and not a sign, is that right?
Yes, except for the lettering.
Except for the lettering.
And the lettering doesn't have the name of the business, it just
No.
says coffee, wine, coffee, wine.
And does it say that in the little sun thing up above?
I think that's
That-
coffee.
That's a sign.
As a coffee,
Coffee wine.
it's hard to see from.
Questionable thing is, bottles and,
Right.
that.
It just looks like it repeating the design to me, I mean,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It's be a bottle shop. It's not really, I mean, it's,
So does it meet the size specification for both?
You mean
A
if it
sign?
wasn't a mural? I think it would, I think they would likely exceed I haven't honestly calculated, but I think it would likely exceed their allotted sign area.
It would exceed the
think-
sign area.
I'm guessing because that's,
Then it would have to be a mural if it's acceptable.
If it didn't have the words, it would be
It would-
entirely a mural, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, no, we did not, but.
Well, I think it's acceptable, and if city council doesn't like it, then they'll say they don't like it, right?
Right.
It doesn't meet policy. If it does,
I think it meets the intent of the policy applied and it's as defined, which is in the report, what a mural sign is. But they can certainly deny it.
right. Well, I don't see any problem for us to send it on to city council. I think that as long as it's within policy, I'm happy with that.
Do we need to vote on that, or we just make a
Yeah.
recommendation?
We'll need a motion to approve the mural application.
I move to approve the mural application.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Barry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and next up, final announcements from staff or commissioners.
I have an announcement. And I was awarded a adventure lab, which is through geocaching. And I'm doing it as a tourism type geocache. They're kind of neat. They're free apps. You can only use a phone. That's all you do. Download it. And I would like to know what I'm going to do artwork. I'm going to do some of our public art. And if you have any suggestions for public art, it would be nice. I may also do some businesses that have art, things like that. So it'll be something for Sandpoint.
And what's the location?
It's within the city limits of Sandpoint. I can be out further. I mean, I can take them out to the sculpture that's out at the roundabout, but driving, but you have to tell them you have to drive to see.
Oh, okay.
Get this one, which is fine. That's no big deal. But it's basically, it's kind of a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah,
answer
very
questions
cool.
as you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
The beautiful arch, it has some unique elements in it that might be a little bit harder to find, but fun for somebody to be
Well,
looking for.
and the way the adventure, there's an adventure lab already done here in Sandpoint that the woman works for Groundspeak. And she did it for the event. This is their 20th anniversary of geocaching. And it's the app, you just download it from either, if you have an iPhone, it's on you can get the app or, just a regular other kind of phone. You can go to Google Play and get it. But it's free. It's a free thing. And it's a, you just go from place to place. What's nice about it is that somebody can't just go and answer the questions because you actually ask questions. They have to be within proximity. So you set up the proximity on it. So they have to, I tried to do that with the last one and it was like, it wouldn't let me. So I knew the name and it's like, no, we won't let you put it in because you're not close enough.
So you
So
have to be there.
you have to be there.
We wound up at City Beach one time. I couldn't find anything.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool because, if you download the app and, you just make your own little account, they're free and you can do it. The one that Annie did, she took you to different places around town, just to, it's a walking kind of, it takes about an hour and there's 7 locations and you go to each one and they ask a question. And then, what's really cool is if you answer it correctly, it goes bing. Just this little thing. Anyhow, so I'm putting one together for us, for the arts.
Thank you.
Awesome. Looks really fun. Carol mentioned it to me earlier. You're gonna have to download that app.
You have to download it and do it because you get hooked on it because the Spokane has a couple. And they did use their arts commission did do with the artwork around. They have theirs, yeah.
We talked about maybe that could be something that is incorporated into like a broader walking tour once we get through our planning process and promote it more. And maybe the city might be willing to give a plug about it. I haven't talked to Jennifer about it or anything, but certainly I know other cities have gone through like Chamber of Commerce and other arts organizations, maybe POAC, might want to help promote it as well.
Well, that's what's interesting is once I'm done with it and I send it over to the site, then they will create a unique URL and a QR code that we can use. So we can put it on things, we can put it in the newspaper, whatever, and then they scan it, it pulls everything up. Yeah. Normally it's $200, we're getting it for free.
I have received considerable amounts of praise about the lettering in front of the packet.
Cool.
So people are still very sad about the bricks, but they are really, they find them very striking feature. So
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
On I'm a little behind. What's happening with the bricks in front of it?
Well, what few were able to be saved are stacked. And as soon as it's safe to have people pawing through and looking, they'll figure out some way to do it. But they hope to eventually get a plaque or something to acknowledge those people's names outside the building
Oh, I see.
somewhere. But the bricks were so thin that not that many survived.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So, but that says community supported, mission driven on that. So that's what the bricks represented.
Yeah.
Was the community support, so.
Cool.
Right now, I'm more focused on keeping the place
Yeah,
afloat
it just
than
looks good.
that, but that will come back to that, yeah. And do we have any update from the historic commission, history commission on the
The
wrap?
wraps? Yes, actually, Linda and I met with Brett from Busy Beaver this morning.
Okay,
He's working on finalizing proofs
okay,
and getting everything together. So yours is on the panel is on the front burner.
okay, awesome.
And did you have anything to talk about?
Just a reminder that we've scheduled a special meeting in a couple weeks. On the 22nd at 4 p.m.
Is that here?
That's July 22nd, 4 p.m. here in council chambers.
Okay.
And we're excited to have you meet our consultants for the Arts and Culture and Historic Preservation Master Plan. They're meeting with various groups. They're also meeting with the Arts Commission here for a very narrow window in July. They're going to be meeting with SHPO and the Historic Warren County Historic History Museum, the Historical Society. So it's a fact-finding mission. So think about things to bring to that discussion. It'll be approximately an hour. Is that right?
It's scheduled until 5.
And should anything come up in the meantime that we want to throw in there, we can potentially do that. These folks don't, any of these folks don't work out, but don't anticipate that happening. I don't have any other updates unless you have any other questions for me.
Patty, one of my former architecture professor down at the U of I, his name is Nels Reese, or Nelson Reese, and he's writing a book on theaters in the state of Idaho.
Oh.
He's visited almost every one, and I had him up here last summer, and we did a quick tour through the Canada.
I remember something like that.
Yeah, he's very, very impressed with it, and
Yeah.
he wanted to get into his book. I don't know where he is on that right now. It wouldn't hurt to give him a chat, he
Yeah,
may know
Nice.
some mechanics that you might be able to find some fun in some way.
Okay.
Now, through his former professor.
Well, one other thing I was going to say is, have you been to the roundabout lately? The landscaping looks great.
It does,
Yeah.
it does.
I was going to say that even, there was concern about, over the winter, things, kicking out of place or anything. It looked fantastic from the
Excellent.
get-go.
I'll let Austin know.
Yeah.
He's on point for
The other thing, because I go that route all the time, is that we were concerned that the landscaping not attract deer.
Mhm.
And I always see them on the outer edges. I've never
Good.
seen a deer in the center,
Fantastic.
so.
Has anyone visited at night? Have you seen, is there any?
All
how's
hours of
lighting
the
look?
day I've visited, yeah.
How's the
Great.
lighting look?
It is beautiful.
I haven't seen it at
As you
night.
go
I have to
around,
hide.
it that blue light sparkles
Yeah.
off of the various surfaces, and it's subtle, but it's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's really striking.
All right, anything else? All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.